I think that's the challenge with entrepreneurialism, which is, as entrepreneurs, we want to learn how to be business owners. As entrepreneurs, we want to learn how to be business leaders. But at the end of the fucking day, as entrepreneurs, we don't want to learn any of this. We just want to do it. Is that a fair comment?
I would say that's absolutely right. I just want to get to it.
Hey, welcome back to the Wits Podcast. Once again, we are here back talking with a good friend, once upon a time client, who I think you still are a client, but become more of a friend recently. Neil Shepherd, CEO of the Shepherd Group, an insurance brokerage house that does life insurance, group insurance, personal, commercial, auto.
We do it all.
You do it all. And this is going to be a conversation about being an entrepreneur today. You and I are small to medium business, bro.
Right.
We're entrepreneurs. We're fighting for every sale. We're fighting for every deal. We're fighting to keep the lights on. We're fighting to grow. We're fighting to scale. We're fighting just to keep our fucking doors open right now. Right? And I'm having this discussion with the team, which is, you know what? I do want you to come back because I do believe we will be more productive. However, I just introduced the hybrid model, which said, there's part of your role which would be better suited to fulfill outside the office. And then there's the rest of your role that you can do at home. And then there's the balance of people with kids. So we're introducing this hybrid model, and it's all we can really do right now. But back to this original conversation, we're fighting for fucking survival and trying
every cent.
Every
single cent. Every dollar I could save, I'm doing right now. I'm not in panic mode, but you have to be prudent right now. We just don't know what tomorrow's going to bring and everything else. I just have to make sure we stay the course. And I have. It's funny because I have 3 maternity leaves coming back. I had 3 maternity leaves in a 90-day period that left a year ago,
which would have saved you on expense.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Overhead, 3 people, right?
Right, 3.
Which they're now coming back into the COVID market.
Right.
Wow, man, that's interesting. So,
all 3
coming off
kids.
paternity leave, it could be mat or paternal leave, right? You go on leave. My brothers and his wife have just gone through this. So she just she's a teacher. And she just went on mat leave she was going to start mat leave April, but by March schools were shutting down. So she took it from there. So great time to be on mat leave. Tougher time for an employer to have that person come back now on payroll in a climate where they've lost revenue, right? You're down in revenue.
Well, actually, revenue's up a little bit, but our policy in force is down.
This is what I'm hearing, and what I'm hearing is I've spoken to, as you know, I work with a wide variety of sort of industries and stuff, construction, insurance, et cetera. And in the beginning, some of these industries like insurance, yours, and construction were good. They were still stable, they were still earning, policies were still there. Anyway, what I'm hearing literally over the last 5 days, call it a week, is that these same companies, these same industries are going, we're okay, but we're getting ready to get hit. We're getting ready for the fallout, or we're now starting to feel that, like construction. So those gigs just didn't book.
One of the concerns we have is coming into September, October, because usually what will happen is you'll have a 30-day lag of business going. Everything looks great, and then all of a sudden, the next 30 days, you got this gaping hole in your income statement. It could be challenging. Again, we've taken the steps to take the right activities and. So, but one of the things, we took the steps to start creating activity. We started calling out. It wasn't hard sale, but where can we help our customers? If you have customers that don't have all lines with you, if you start combining it, more money transferred back to their pockets, right? So during this time, it's helped. But it's getting tough. There's certain industries I won't go near right now is restaurants. I mean, restaurants have been decimated. There's a few that are trying to do some different things, which I think is great, innovative, creative, grocery deliveries, things of that nature, curbside pickup. However, how long is that going to take? How long is it going to last?
So I was just talking to a buddy today, Harbor, which is a steakhouse in...
Harbor 60?
Yeah, in Toronto.
Right.
If you're all up in Toronto one day, y'all got to come to Harbor 60. Anyway, they've converted the parking lot into the restaurant. And it feels like you're in Miami.
I did not know that.
It's outside. They've decorated the parking lot. They've brought
Very
plants.
Nice.
They've done
Very
tables.
Nice.
So they're able to still operate as a restaurant. Now they happen to have that parking lot space,
right,
which allows them.
I did not know they own that, but
Well, I don't even know if they own it, but I just know that my buddy said today, they literally decorated this parking lot and created an outside restaurant. Now, if you have been to places like Miami or even things like Costa Rica, like you eat in some of these restaurants, you're outside and you know, it's cool and it's funky. And I'll never forget, where was it? It was Florida, North Florida. Where was I? I must have been somewhere closer to Del Rey. And there was this restaurant that looked like a house, but the whole restaurant was outside the house around this massive tree.
Nice.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I think, you know, if you have that space, great. But if not, back to what you just said, they've been decimated.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, there's certain industries we can't even go near right now. We just don't know what the outcomes are going to be.
What's the other industries you can't go near?
I'm staying away from some of the office buildings. You know, some of the residential realty is tough, and we've been historically a residential realty broker. But with where the rates are going and market appetite, it's getting harder and harder to place the business on this. And, you know, I've been told many times that there's multiple high-rise buildings in this city without any insurance because they can't secure it. You know, let alone someone driving around without insurance. But you got these high-rise buildings now without it. It's quite scary. You know, it's quite scary. You have people that are living in there and there's no protection.
And like in some regards, just for the audience, like it doesn't make a big deal until the building catches fire.
Always the case.
Right? Or the roof caves in.
Yeah.
Let's come back to business because you're an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur. And I like the topic we were talking about, which is Jesus fucking Christ, business is fucking difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy cow. Like, you know, what do you do? And selling in today's world is really difficult.
Yeah, it is.
How do you call someone right now saying, hi, I want to sell you something?
Yeah. It's challenging. You know, we're trying to connect with the people we've had some conversations with over the last couple of years, and then said, call us back. And then we just open up the conversation. But where we're finding some real luck is in the life side and the benefit side. Because all people are thinking about now is mortality. They want to protect the future, their kids, the families, everything else.
But what just hit me right now is we are moving into a need-based sales style. Mm-hmm. In other words, we've come out of a pretty good economy where you can pitch people. In other words, I could call you up, say, hey, bro, my name is Greg. I do this thing. I think you're going to love it. You're doing well. You've got revenue. You're like, you know, I like the swagger of this guy. And, you know, he's saying some things that interest me.
Right.
And then you move from the place of interest. Now you move into this place of, I can see how this can work for me. Yep. Now you move from this place of how it's going to work for me into, okay, I'm going to buy it. Right? That happened because of interest. Mm-hmm. You cannot sell like that right now. Right now, we live in a world of what I believe is a need base, which is the only reason someone will talk to you in a place of sale right now is because they need you.
Agreed.
Businesses are going to do business with each other, but it's going to be based on need. Right. I think my business is a good example of this, which is if companies had a choice not to train people, they wouldn't. They'd be like, cut that right out of the P&L
right out of there.
Get rid of it. Because it's an expenditure, but they're going to need to train people because we're living in this hybrid world of work and remote and culture and leadership and communication. But, wow. So need-based selling, and your industry is need-based. Life is need-based. Yep. You know, that's why I bought life insurance through you.
Yes. Yeah,
had kids.
The activity is picked up on that side. The other side is the investment side. Yeah.
But I've been telling you this, we've had this conversation for years. I'm like, bro, just go fucking pure life insurance. Just be the life insurance guy. So back to, we've been having this conversation for years, which is getting rid of the personal and commercial and going pure boutique in like life and...
From the financial services side. Yeah.
So where are you at with that?
Not there yet, man. Not there yet. I think it's too early to make any drastic changes to the business model right now because each department is bringing in revenue.
Bro, are you crazy?
I need it. I need that revenue.
Listen, it's funny, boy. So I'll tell the backstory between me and Neil in a sec, but you know, that's funny because to hear you sit here now going, I'm a little gun shy to take this risk right now is not the traditional Neil that I know, which is Neil has always been the dude which will throw caution to the wind, throw 100 things up against the wall, see which one fucking sticks. In fact, I've been critical of you in some cases, and it's even been my fault, which is I've introduced you to some of these people and said, don't work with them, just do this with them. You're like, no, fuck that. I'm working with them. We're going all in.
All in, man.
And now I hear you saying, so has COVID I want to call it, interfered with your ability to take risk, or has it made you more gun shy as an entrepreneur, as the dude that would say, fuck it, I'll spend it, we'll make it, we'll try it, let's run with it, let's see what happens? Is it COVID that's getting you to be more gun shy, or is it the business? What do you think?
Yeah, I think COVID has put a lot of things into perspective for me. It's really tempered my approach. Okay. When we got that whole shutdown on the 16th, I just came back from London and Paris. I got out and got in there without any problems. And I got back and I just started realizing, being bigger and better isn't always, it's not the end all. In 20 years from now, I'm not going to be working. 10 years from now, I may not be working.
No, hopefully you'll be rich enough that you can not work in 10 years.
Something like that.
Right.
But financially have some freedom that I can enjoy. But it's tempered my approach. I'm realizing, what's more important right now. It's slowed me right down. So instead of having 100 irons in the fire, I have 3.
Smart.
And I'm methodical in the process and doing it. Not afraid to cut the string really quickly now. If it's not working, let's get out of there. So right now, I'm just being a little bit more methodical. We have a 90-day action plan from June, July, and August. They're our biggest months, and we're attacking those, and that's the only thing I'm looking at right now. Coming out of August and then looking at the rest of the year.
Wow, Neil, this is impressive to hear you say that, man, because, so backstory between me and Neil, and you don't know this, but I'll tell you this now. Okay. You were my first coaching client that I sold a coaching package to.
Oh, no way.
So, back up.
Congrats.
I'd been coaching forever, way long before you.
Right.
But coaching had become a big thing. All of a sudden, entrepreneurs and business leaders were asking for coaching.
Right.
So we created a coaching model, right? Now, just to back up, coaching was always part of the training. But this was the first sales conversation that I said, oh, you're interested in a coach? I'm a coach. Here's my coaching package. This is how much it's going to cost. And this is what you get. Right. Which, by the way, if you paid for that same package today, it would have cost you like $100,000. I think you got it for $5,000. Because it included the training, the assessment. I think it included debriefs with your team. At the time, you were
did a couple sessions, probably quarterly,
with the group. We did sessions once. Yeah, we did a bunch of sessions every 2 weeks.
Which were great, yeah.
But you were the actual first coaching sale that I ever made, man. Ever made.
I didn't get any commissions off that, man.
You didn't get, but you actually got great commissions off it, because look at where you are today.
And a lot of connections you have provided, opened your network up.
Vice
Thank
versa,
you so much. Right.
Vice versa, because that's what it's about. It's about the relationship and it's about the give. And you and I have become buds over the years, and obviously our businesses still work together in some capacity. Right. I buy all my life insurance through you, and car insurance,
and business,
commercial insurance. Right.
And
group benefits.
And all that.
Group benefits.
We'll take care of all of you.
Right. So, how the tables have turned. So, but
great work.
So that was the first. So, where I said, let's just paint some context. One of the observations I would have shared with you as call it your official coach is like, you're too entrepreneurial. In other words, your entrepreneurialism is one of your greatest aspects, but it's also one of your biggest Achilles heels. And I think that's the same for all of us, which is, what makes us a great entrepreneur makes us a really shitty boss or leader. Yeah. What makes us a great entrepreneur makes us a really bad financial planner. Right. Now, the art of entrepreneurship, I think, is really maturing through that process. You're it's like, call it a fine wine, right? You get better with age, which is, as a young entrepreneur, you're full of, excitement, energy, optimism, gun-ho-ness. Fuck it, I'll do it.
Piss and vinegar.
There you go. Yeah. And you grind. And then you get to the stage where I think you want to be like, okay, you want to be a good boss, or you want to be a good leader, or you want to be a good business. So you really try to operationalize and professionalize your business. Try to do that kind of stuff. And then we move into the stage of like, wait a minute, all that professional sort of square stuff is the thing that isn't it's not who I am.
Correct.
It's not why I started this business. So now we blend the world. The expectation of professionalism and execution sticks, but the creative entrepreneurial energy comes back in. Right. And then we get to the stage, which I think which is what I'm describing with you, which is you're seasoned. Mm-hmm. You know how to take risk. Right. You know the risk that it's not about taking a calculated risk. It's about, all right, there are certain markers that have to hit in order for me to do so. Congratulations on maturing, bro.
Thank you. I'm now an adult.
Right.
I feel like an adult now.
No kidding. Right.
It's
But I
taken
think
some
we've
time.
all got to go through this journey,
Right.
right? I think
Yeah.
that's the challenge with entrepreneurialism, which is, you know, as entrepreneurs, we want to learn how to be business owners. As entrepreneurs, we want to learn how to be business leaders. But at the end of the fucking day, as entrepreneurs, we don't want to learn any of this.
Right.
We just want to do it. Is that a fair comment?
I would say that's absolutely right. I just want to get to it.
Right.
Let's get it done. Keep
Right.
moving.
Right.
But it's challenging to do that, especially as you try to scale that business.
Right.
It's tough. It's really tough.
So, you know, here's an interesting, so as an insurance brokerage, how do you scale your business now?
I don't know if I want to scale it. That's where I'm going. I don't know if I want to
Boutique.
scale it.
We've had the conversation
Yeah.
about you being boutique forever. Sell life insurance, financial
Specialize,
planning,
yep.
certain commercial deals that you
Right.
do, real specialized.
Yep.
Each account is worth
Yep.
$250,000.
Yep.
You have, you know, few, 20,
Right.
30 of those. You're a happy camper.
Yeah, it's bigger isn't always better anymore.
No.
And then again, you know, going back through when this all started and before, you know, the breadcrumbs were down there, and I started looking at it. But you know, when this hit in March, it changed my whole thought process because all of a sudden, everyone is like, "Go home," and then you're sitting in the office by yourself, saying, "Okay, what now?" Because ultimately, it's back on you.
Bro, you just said something. You're right. March 15th hit, right? COVID hit. You and I are similar in a lot of regards. We've had this conversation as well. We're both lunatics, but
Yeah.
you know, in a lot of ways, pointed and focused on the right day can
right.
accomplish some amazing
Yeah.
things. But I know exactly what you mean, what you just said, which is like all of a sudden you come back to the office, everyone's at home, right? We are still these automated pattern people, which
Right.
is we need to go to the office, right? So we come in the office and we stand here by ourselves. I stood in my office by myself for 3 months. 3 months. It's fucked
Crazy.
up, man.
Yeah, that's
Really
crazy.
fucked up.
Yeah.
I was unable
Yeah.
to work at home. For
Right.
me, it was
Same with me.
It was this like, no, I need to go somewhere to accomplish something.
Right. Yeah, that's how I was brought up. But you know, I was trying to do like every other week. I was taking a day and working from home, and everyone would say, "Well, you don't have to go in. You're the boss." And I'm like, "No, I got to lead. How can I expect the rest of my team to operate if I'm not doing it?" And you know, the early stages of this thing, it was just dire. You know, in your mind, you just thought it was so bleak because you're hearing everything from everywhere. You don't know what's real, and it's what do you do next? You know, because at the end of the day, again, you know, you can't really pull the ripcord as easily, especially when there's financial obligations there. And
And call it a leadership and a social responsibility, which is how do I look after my people? How do I still keep them on payroll?
Right,
How do
right.
I, you know, make some decisions right now which are going to be beyond me
Right.
as an entrepreneur, which is all we want to do is pull that ripcord and run the hell out.
some days like that, you know, and one of my first commitments to the team when we got everyone together was, we're going to get through this together. Here's the plan. And my commitment was, let's get through this without having to lay anyone off and or reduce salary or income. So rotating them maybe 4 days a week versus 5 days a week, cutting hours.
Right.
And thus far it's been great, but it's challenging, you know.
But you did reduce income by cutting hours.
No, we haven't cut hours.
What do you mean?
We're still 9 to 5 all the way
No,
through.
I know, but you didn't reduce salaries?
No.
Okay,
Yeah,
good
I've
for you.
got everyone's getting their same salaries, full
amazing.
freight.
That's
That was
amazing.
my commitment, and you know, as much
You
as
can
you
make
throw,
that commitment as long as your revenue is coming in.
yeah, but you know, when you throw that out there, you go home and you sit there, and all of a sudden, this weight of the entire world comes down your shoulders. You're like, how are you going to fulfill on this?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was challenging, and it has still been challenging. You know, trying to get everyone on the calls in the morning. What do we got accomplished today? What rocks do we have to move forward? It's like herding cats.
Right.
And that's all of us, you know. I started dealing with some mental health fatigue end of March, start of April, and I shared that with my team too. And I noticed there were some people having some challenges along the way. But I said to the remote team, you know, if you guys need to come back in, you can come back in. The doors are open here. There's a couple of people where, you know, depending on family situation, they might have underlying issues, health issues. So you don't want to expose them.
Sure.
But yeah, it's been an adventure. It's been an adventure. This past week has probably been my toughest week in about a month and a half, probably. It's just been a challenge.
What happened this week?
Just you know, when things go sideways, they go sideways. Yeah, they went sideways from Monday. So I took a few days off last week, came in Monday, and things started going sideways. But I think, you know, we're starting to get ahead of some of the crust. But it's challenging. It's really challenging. You're starting to see some slippage. You know, you're working from home. The weather's great. Are you going to sit at your computer all day or not? It's not that I don't trust my team. Mm-hmm. I trust them. Mm-hmm. And, you know, every now and then you got to get up from that computer and go for a walk for an hour and a half to get yourself back into a mindset, because you got to take care of yourself right now.
The conversation that you had about how do you deal with this remote, we were talking about earlier, I've just had the same conversation with my team, which is, this is what the new hybrid model looks like.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, I'm borrowing and stealing and R&Ding, which is robbing and duplicating.
Right.
A couple examples. So here's what I've heard that's working well so far. So number one, everyone is logged in between certain hours. So whether your platform is Zoom or Teams or Meets or Skype, whatever.
Right.
What I like about Zoom is you got the chat in there. They all do, but you got your chats. And what that video on all the time between these hours creates is hallway conversation.
Yes.
Hey, can I talk to you for a sec? Or, hey, can I run something by? Mm-hmm. So because video is on all the time and the chat box is on all the time, you recreate that virtually instead of in a live office. So that's number one. Number two, there are core business hours. That says between these hours, you are on.
Right.
Now, before these hours, you've got some flexibility. And so what does that look like? So let's say core hours are from 10 to 2. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean you work from 10 to 2. That means from 10 to 2, you are on core company time, which is doing this. Yep. Now, from 8:30 to 10 or from 2 to 5, you have flex in what you do. If you want to take 2 o'clock from 2 to 4 off and go for a walk, go for it. But then from 4 to 6, you're back on completely. Or in other words, you're committing to a certain amount of hours of work during the day, right? Third thing, option of what you're talking about, come back in. If you want to come into the office, here's the space, here's how we do it, here's the practices that we're following. And in some cases, if you're a large population as an organization, what they're doing is they're doing a waiting list, which is you want to come in the office, you put your name on that list, and when it rotates to your name, then you get to come in the office, right? And then I've added this little fourth thing. I know my team well. I think, you know, as a good leader, you want to try to make good decisions, which are going to provoke or promote people into better things, goodness, better mental health. Okay. And one guy I know who's working at home, even though he can do his job 100 at home, I'm going to force him to come back in the office. Okay. Not full-time, just part-time, just different sporadic days, right? And he can choose. You could choose, hey, as per your schedule, but we're going to agree to 2 half days a week or to 1 day a week or to 2 days a week, whatever the number is, you're going to come in the office. And each week that can change. Now, why? Not because I don't trust the fact that he can't work from home, but I know it's going to be better for him to have a break, to get in his car, to hit that gas.
Totally agree.
Right? Like, he's a driver. He used to ride motorcycles. Like, I know what he's going to do. He's going to get in the car, he's going to hit that gas, and he's going to come up what is called the DVP in Toronto, which is the Don Valley Parkway. It's a highway that goes from north to south, south to north. And I know he's going to bomb up, and he's going to get that feeling. The wind's going to be in his hair.
He's going to feel great.
He's going to feel great. Yeah. He's going to be a better dad. He's going to be a better husband. He's going to be, you know, just a better human being because of that thing. So I think we as leaders need to think about that stuff as well. But there's a fine balance between what it is. Right. Because I get this crossing my desk a lot, which is people are extremely resentful at a company when they are being forced to come back. Yep. So as a company, and my bookkeeper called me and she was like, so you got people coming back? As a joke. Well, it's a little bit of a sensitive conversation. She was like, well, my other company I work for forced us to come back. Yeah. No choice.
Yeah. There's a lot of companies doing that right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I don't disagree because in some regards, like, come on, time to get back onto it. Right. But I think these companies are making these decisions for the wrong reasons because they're making these decisions out of a need of control. Right. You're a controlling person. I'm a controlling person. As entrepreneurs, we're controlling. As bosses, you want to squeeze because, hey, if you're here at your desk, I know you're working. Right. We had this conversation before we started talking in the podcast, which was this exact thing, which is, how do I know they're actually being effective and successful in their roles? Right. Are they working?
It's tough.
It's very tough. The tough is our personalities, which is we're controlling.
Yeah.
That's what's tough.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how much information, because here's what's fucked up. If that person came in the office and sat at their desk and did dick all, can I say that? Sure. They did nothing. Right? They did dick all, right? In some weird way, we would be resolved. We'd be like,
okay.
But they're at the office.
I could see them.
I could see them. Something happened.
Right.
Right? They might have been playing solitaire. Remember, that was back in the day. Might be dating myself, but back in the day when you fucked around at the office on your computer before social media, before social media, you played solitaire. Remember? Right?
Oh my gosh.
I got so good at solitaire.
And I'd be yelling out after I won. I'd be like, yes.
Right. And what's funny, because in the early days of social media, we spoke about this, which was like a lot of companies had issues with Facebook. They were like, you can't have Facebook on during the day.
Right.
People are fucking around on Facebook all day. People check social media, yes, maybe 100 times a day. But you know what they were doing before social media and checking Facebook? They were playing solitaire. And you know what else they were doing? People were taking their 15-minute break at 10 o'clock for the full 15 minutes.
10 to 10:15 and 3 to 3:15.
That's right. Whether the phone rang, whether there was work. Oh, no, break. That's
Gotta
it.
go.
Lunch, 12.
Right,
Boom. Now what you start to see is people being fluid. Is they're like, okay, I'm not going to take a break this morning because I'm working.
Right.
But I'm going to check my social media throughout the day.
Yeah.
Nothing's really changed. If you think about it, people, what I mean by that,
The
people's
locations
attitudes,
changed.
behaviors, locations changed,
changed.
and digital world has changed as well.
Right.
All right, let's talk a little bit about business recovery. What does the
Right.
next couple of years look like? I mean, you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. As much as we have a game plan for things, I mean, truthfully, I don't know what the fuck the next 2 years are going to look like. But I mean, what are your thoughts? What's your recovery? What do you think's going to happen?
Look, I think the Canadian economy's got a couple tough years coming, if not more. I mean, we just saw the announcement yesterday. What is it? $340+ billion in debt right now.
Yeah, because the government's been pouring money out.
Can't get people to come back to work because they're sitting home on CERB.
Right.
I think we're going to go through a tough stretch. I think we're going to go through a really tough stretch. I think whoever has cash is going to be king again. You need to have that cash to weather some of this. And this is where my thought processes change. Bigger doesn't mean better. It will become more headaches. And I'd rather be financially sound, profitable,
lean,
cash in the account, lean running it, have the right people, and have that freedom. Yeah. Because you're doing everything right. So for us, I'm not looking to go gangbusters and expand, but if an opportunity comes up, I'm definitely going to kick tires and see what's there. But yeah, I'm just looking to make it through this year, be profitable, keep moving, and see what next year brings. But I think we're going to be in for a little bit of hurt here. Yep. The new I think it was the new Bank of Canada governor said a couple weeks back, he goes, we need to move forward, and unfortunately we're going to be leaving some people behind. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. So who knows what's going to happen politically.
Okay, so we don't know what's going to happen politically. We'll see.
Yeah, I think all these things they're all going to line up. It's going to be a tough slug. I think it's going to be pretty challenging.
So I'm going to be more detailed, descriptive. Yeah. I think it's going to be a bloodbath out there for the next 2 years. Yeah, I think there's going to be a few things happen. One, the businesses that have made it so far are going to go through more tough times.
Oh, we're going to have turbulence nonstop.
Right. Like just it's,
strap in and let's go.
Yeah. I thought we were coming out of this in September. Right. No.
Right.
Just the beginning. Get ready for a bumpy ride. And hang on. And like that it's like that, the 8 seconds. Can you ride the bull for 8 seconds?
Hold on, man.
Can you hold on? Right? Can you do it? Right? So that's going to be rough. And some of us will and some of us won't. And back to your point, some people will be left behind.
Yeah.
I think there is going to be a massive issue, not just with mental health from a place of people being overwhelmed, depressed, anxiety, but this whole thing of people coming back to work. So all jokes aside, I went to go buy ice earlier from the gas station. 2 days in a row, out. Why is there no ice? Not because there's no fucking ice available, not because it's hot and people are buying a lot of ice, because they cannot get the drivers to come back to work.
No one wants to.
You're making $2,000 a month in CERB.
Tax-free right now.
Tax-free. On vacation, chilling.
Yeah.
Like it's hard. And as you were saying, you're having to bribe people to come back to work. Yeah. Right? Okay. So that's going to compound and that's going to pop because all of a sudden these people the CERB's going to stop. Now all of a sudden people are going to want to come back for it.
Right.
There's going to be a fight for that stuff.
Right.
It's going to be major shit. It's going to be a real bloodbath over the next couple of years. Right. And hopefully, and this would be the advice I think I'd give people, know where you're going and have a plan to get there. Right. Right? And get ready to be bumpy. I sort of related to the flying on a plane. Captain comes on and says, we're about to hit some turbulence. Strap in. Yeah. That's all you do. Now, if you're really on a bad plane ride, you don't get the bar cart. But besides that, you ride it through. Right. Yeah. You ride it through. Yeah. So, okay. Neil, you're a good man.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Appreciate it.
Really appreciate the conversation. We'll do it again.
It's been too long.
It's been way too long. All right. Listen, if you like today's episode, don't forget to click that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel below. And don't forget to share. We will see you next time. Hey, I'm Greg Witz. Thanks so much for coming and checking out the video. If you like that video, you're going to love the next one. So I'd highly suggest that you click this video over here. And don't forget to subscribe and share.